I'm Rishad Tobaccowala. I'm the Chief Innovation and Strategy Officer for a company called VivaKi, which is a combination of Starcom MediaVest, ZenithOptimedia, which are two of the world's largest media planning and buying companies, and Digitas and Razorfish, which are two of the world's largest digital agencies. What is changing media today is digital, as more and more both distribution is going over the internet or IP protocol, and consumption, which is taking place on devices that have chips in it, whether it be a phone, whether it be a computer, whether it be a tablet, or very soon a television. When things become digital, two massive changes happen to the media business. The first is there is a blur between media types. So what is radio and print and television all blend into one, because if it's digital, it's zeros and ones, and after that it barely matters. The second is the way content is consumed and discovered and shared changes, because the person who uses the content, the consumer, also becomes a distributor and a creator and an editor. And therefore, the definition of how media is planned, how media is created, and how media is distributed. That content will continue to be very valuable, but there's so much of even very good content. How do people find it? How do people combine A with B, which is if you know that you're looking for content, let's say, of a particular movie, right? What are other places that this actor or actress have been in? And if you think about it, a lot of why Amazon and Netflix are popular is because they actually allow you to discover other things. Oddly, the future of the agency business may or may not come from agencies. So what tends to happen is people do not actually consume a particular type of media. So for instance, if you are passionate about something, like let's say you're passionate about movies. If you're passionate about movies, you're not going to basically say, I'm only going to use online media for movies. You will read movie magazines, you'll watch television shows and movies, you listen to radio programs and movies, you will go to live events, and you'll do digital. So people actually are far more broader than the way agencies are organized. What clients are looking for is, in this world when there are all these things, can somebody help me guide across this in a way that is actually unbiased? So what they're sick and tired of is a traditional agency saying, this is the way to do it. A digital agency saying, this is the way to do it. And they also don't like the fact that often, by blending the two, sometimes the right people are not necessarily in charge, which is, you need to get the best person. Sometimes the best person might actually be from the digital part of the company. Some part it might be from someone else. Not as much as sort of even the advertising agencies or the public relations companies, the media planning and buying companies obviously see the money flow. And they might actually invent the future of advertising, excepting they don't necessarily today have the culture that is, they have a culture that's creative, but they not necessarily have a culture that is conducive to content creators. So a lot of it is going to be sort of cultural shifts. And as much as when people are looking within the agency business, there are 2 or 3 places from outside that actually might be the next agencies. So for instance, companies like Meredith or Hearst, which are large publication companies, are buying digital agencies and incorporating them into it. So Hearst recently bought iCrossing. Meredith has a lot of capabilities. So they'll go to a client and say, look, we have content and content creators, we have databases, we have some interactive digital skills, and we'll deliver you the whole thing. So what may happen is the agencies, by looking at each other, may actually be missing things. Similarly, in a world with massive technology platforms, dashboards, and stuff like that, we may find ourselves having the Googles of the world and the Facebooks of the world, and clearly Apple, which is doing soup to nuts on iAds, as another form. And so often when I see within our industries this incestuous fighting, my stuff is, look, you'll have fighting about something that matters less and less, look outside, right? No media is dying, all media are going to be fine. the person, the human being, the consumer is who you need to keep in mind. And you need to keep what the client is looking for. And the client actually just wants to find ways to better engage with the people who they're trying to sell things to. And they want somebody who can guide them and then deliver the services which are both best of breed and at the most efficient price. And so there's a very interesting mix and match, which is it's very hard to get best of breed, efficient price, and holistic planning all within one place. So you have to figure out how to organize your different parts of your company to be able to do that. Because people who can plan holistically, there's a certain skill set. People who can do world-class television is different than someone who can do world-class Facebook application, who's different than who can do something else. It's just the reality. And there are some scale and cloud advantages. So what you have to do is organize. And the real struggle really for all companies is, will the analog companies become digital faster than the digital companies become analog? And I would say that's very much built on leadership, talent, organization, and most importantly, money, which is, will you actually set up systems that incentivize the right behaviors?